Ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to Legally Speaking. There's this popular Yoruba song that I would like us to start this episode with. I can't remember who sang the song, but I know it started like Ẹnu mi ra kó bá mi, ẹnu mi ra kó bá mi, ẹjọ́ ẹlẹ́jọ́ ni a rò, nání lọ́wọ́ mi wá, ìgbọ̀rọ̀ bá abẹ́yìn yọ wá ní ìwà tó tẹnu mi, ẹnu mi ra kó bá mi. For many of our audience that don't understand Yoruba, what I'm saying there is that what the song was saying is that my mouth will not put me in trouble. My mouth will not put me in trouble. If someone says matter you will talk about and they will request for your presence in order to come and give your report. So tonight, we want to discuss your mouth getting you in trouble. Defamation of character, libel, and everything in between. You know, this is Legally Speaking, and we want to look at it from a legal standpoint. Of course, I have my co-host right here with me in the studio. The person of Emmanuel Bamigbade is a law student at the University of Ibadan, the prestigious University of Ibadan. Let me give them that. I can't say anything that's prestigious about them, but anyway.
The premier university.
Oh, the premier university as he's introducing them himself. You are welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for anchoring last week's edition. Yeah. Since I was absent, I was on vacation, my dear. You know, it's December. You get it. So now let's face the serious issue. In the last discussion, the one we had, we talked about the fact that you cannot use your mouth to commit assault. You know that there's no such thing like using your mouth to commit assault. But now it seems that there's a mouth-related assault now. If we are thinking in terms of defamation, libel. So what's the line? Yeah. What constitutes defamation? Who is defaming who? Where can I use my mouth to get into trouble? Legally speaking.
So legally speaking, when we are talking about defamation, we are talking about the crime or the thoughts, as the case may be. Because when it comes to when I say thought, I mean wrongdoing that can cause injury or harm to someone else. So now, defamation is a false statement. A defamation is a false statement made that can injure someone's reputation or perception in the public and everything. But note that it has to be a false statement. And when such statement is spoken, like when it is the way we are speaking to each other, it is slander. But when such statement is in a document format or written or, you know what I mean, like on record.
Yeah,
like
on record. Solid
records. It is libel. And you might want to ask me that in such situation, what is an audio recording going to serve as? Is it a slander or a libel? But I think we should just go with the fact that it should be a libel, given that it is a document and it is going to last forever. Slander is more of something that is said that passes.
So, no evidence.
Unless maybe other people attest to the fact that it was said, or people that were present, or the fact that maybe it was on record, maybe it was recorded briefly by somebody that was able to grab that moment. So, but when it comes to libel, which is the much common one, which is when it is either written.
I thought libel is lying under oath.
No, that is lying under oath is perjury.
Okay.
So
now we have three key terms here. There's perjury, which is lying under oath. There's libel, which is you lie about something, false information about something that is in record.
On record, exactly.
And then there's slander, that you slander somebody but it's in passing.
It is in spoken mouth, like
so
just like it's in passing.
That means a false information spoken in passing is a slander.
Yes.
But when it's recorded, it becomes a libel. Exactly. When it's under oath, it's perjury.
No, not necessarily about a person when it comes to perjury. Perjury is quite different from the other two. The other two are defamation. But when it comes to perjury is lying about anything entirely. It can be about yourself. It can be about. It might not be about someone per se.
But when that is under oath,
So
that's
but that's
perjury.
when it's under oath. That's when it's
Interesting.
perjury.
I hope you are learning key terms there. There's perjury that is lying under oath. Don't confuse it with libel, which is that you lie against someone else's reputation. So that means in case of libel, there must be an infringement on someone's reputation, potential infringement.
Exactly. Let me list some key stuff that has to be there.
So which part of the law of Nigeria points to that, and what is their definition of these ideas, from a legal, documented standpoint? That's what I think you want to give us now.
For something to, before I go into that, for something to constitute a defamation,
okay,
it has to, one, lower the person's, or the way people perceive who that person is. It has to lower that in front of right thinking people. So now it has to lower that. It's people, the right thinking people have to see that as having effect on how they begin to perceive that person afterwards. So it's just not a matter of, so if writing people can read what you said and can say this does not mean anything. This does not affect this person's reputation at all.
Please, what's your definition of right
thinking people? It's just a way to refer to normal people, like the average person, like mad people. That's just what we are trying to say, not people that are
dear viewer, me and you, we both know that 90% of people in Lagos are what? No, I don't want to commit any slander, any libel. What?
You don't want to defame the people of Lagos.
I don't want to defame the people of Lagos. But
we both know.
You know what I'm talking about. 90% of Lagosians are what? Are they right people, thinking people? I'm asking a question. You see, I'm not saying they are not. I'm just saying, are they? You figure out the rest. You can tell me in the comment section.
So to your question, is it a criminal matter or a civil matter?
Okay.
The simplest answer to that question is that it can be both.
Okay.
It can be either.
I want to know what's the legal status on this. Is it part of the criminal code? Is it part of
the fact that it is part of the criminal code and the penal code? This is why it has a criminal standing.
Okay.
But this defamation is a very, very interesting crime in Nigeria, given that a few states have repealed the defamation, the section about defamation in the criminal code.
The criminal stand of
so now Lagos version of the criminal code does not include that section.
Defamation.
It's repealed the section of defamation in 2011. So since 2011, and even in 2021, in the popular, I think, Onobo versus Commissioner of Police or something like that, the Supreme Court affirmed that defamation is not a crime in Lagos State. So now when I'm reading from the criminal code about defamation, have it at the back of your mind that it does not apply to Lagos State. And Edo State is currently working, since 2022, they've been working on repealing defamation from their criminal law. So always have that.
It seems that I'm moving to Lagos so that I can defame people.
So I can defame with
impunity.
Okay, so let me read out the.
Wait, before you read out, if someone lives in Abuja, I live in Lagos, I defame somebody in Lagos, what will be happen?
Should we save the sweetest part for later?
Continue.
Let's save the sweetest part for later, because I think that will be the most fun part of this episode.
Okay.
Because, okay, we will get there. So let me still continue what I want to read out, which is that according to the section 373 of the.
You see that law can be very interesting. It's when we are talking about interesting topic. Okay.
So,
which section?
Section 373 of the Criminal Code, which we have stated severally on this podcast, that applies to the southern part of Nigeria. And just that note that in this case, this section has been repealed in Lagos State, and it is currently it is in the works since 2022 to be repealed in Edo State too. So now defamation.
Or your state House of Assembly or House of Rep, or which one do you call them? Please
That was assembly.
Go and repair defamation. we don't defame in our state, please.
It shouldn't be a crime.
It shouldn't be a crime.
I think it's becoming a general, like, people are feeling like, no, we should no longer decriminalize.
I think it's a standing debate.
no longer
There's a standing debate
criminalize-
on it that
Yeah, even worldwide. Why are we still criminalizing defamation? It should be a
because
civil
if
wrongdoing.
wrongdoing,
You should keep
if-
it as thoughts, like
Uh-huh.
civil wrongdoing between two people, not.
you know, I can sue you to court for defaming me, and I can win,
and
I
I'll
can
collect money.
damages or whatever the case may be. That's all. Very
Let's keep it
simple.
that way. Why should somebody go to jail
Because I said something. I might have the wrong information before me when I was saying it, and then there will be consequences for me, going in public and talking about the wrong information. But it will be between me and the person I said it against. But
Not
what happened
against
when
the
I
wrong.
defame a dead person?
I think their family member should bring something up. Should bring something up against you.
Okay.
I think since they can do that, they have the legal interest to do that, so they can do that.
Okay. Makes sense.
Uh,
So,
what is a defamatory matter? A defamatory matter is a matter likely to injure the reputation of any person by exposing him to hatred, contempt, or ridicule, or likely to damage any person in his profession or trade by an injury to his reputation. It's a defamatory. That's what a defamatory matter is under what's the name? Under the Criminal Code. It continues that such matter may be expressed in spoken words or in any audible sound or in words legibly marked on any substance, whatever, or by any sign or object signifying such matter, otherwise by words, and may be expressed either directly or by insinuation or by irony. So you can't just tell me somebody is saying, somebody is suggesting that's not defamation. The person is just suggesting. No, it is still defamation. So if you follow what I read, then to continue.
So the way I'm insinuating Lagos people,
It's still defamation regardless.
as us Lagosians, we have all agreed that there's no defamation
It's not, defamation is not a crime in Lagos.
in Lagos. So
You are good to go.
I can defame you in peace.
But
Abby,
you
Yeah,
live,
chop
you,
dog.
live, you live in Oyo State, though.
doesn't matter. I'm
There's
in
no
Lagos.
Victim. There's
I
no
made-
victim.
And there's no
There's no
victim.
crime without a victim.
I made this video in Lagos. Where's the evidence? I made this video in Lagos. How do you know that this is my whatever studio?
It continues that it is immaterial that whether at the time of the publication or of the defamatory matter, the
Mhm.
person concerning whom such matter is published is living or dead. So
So it
whether or not
doesn't
the person
matter.
is alive or dead, it doesn't matter. Provided that no prosecution for the publication of defamatory matter concerning a dead person shall be instituted without the consent of the Attorney General of the Federation. That's just the only what's the name about it.
Oh, you
so-
need the consent of the Attorney
Attorney
General of the
General if
Federation.
someone is dead. So
God help you secure that one.
there's a lot,
Mm.
but I will just like to go into what the punishment for defamation is.
Mm.
So now, the
What's the punishment? 3 months in prison, 1 year. What's happening? How long will I need to stay in
Kirikiri.
in Kirikiri, or Kuje? Some of you that like Kuje prison.
Subject to the provisions of this chapter,
Mhm.
any person who publishes any defamatory matter is guilty of a misdemeanor and is liable to imprisonment for 1 year.
It's just a 1 year.
Exactly. And any person who publishes any defamatory matter knowing it to be false is
Mm.
liable to imprisonment for 2 years. So the difference between somebody that is going for 1 year and person that is going for 2 years is that one knows that it's false before he published it, and the other does not know that it was false at the time when he published it, but it happened to be false.
Mm.
So that's the difference between 1 year and 2 years. And there is a lot of, I'm telling you, there's a lot of agitation about we should really move this thing from it being a criminal matter
case to a very civil.
The funny
Very
thing is that the
civil.
penal code is also similar on this. It's 2 years imprisonment for a case of defamation, just like in the criminal code. Although there's no other state, to my knowledge, at the moment that has repealed anything about defamation in the northern states.
Okay.
So it applies.
So now, here's the thing. There's an ongoing debacle on the fact that defamation and the defamation law and defamation, crime is a tool of the rich to silence,
The poor.
the not necessarily the poor, the activists, the people that clamor for justice in the corridor of power. Do you think that view represents what's going on accurately?
I understand the view. I understand why someone would think that. But at the same time, we can't just be opening the doors for people to just get away with anything. The fact that somebody is rich is not a crime in Nigeria, to my knowledge. So it does not mean someone can just accuse you of crime and just go to their seat without proof, without evidence. So when somebody is being punished for saying something that is easily falsifiable or not falsifiable, and then a rich person takes action about it, people will say that's what rich people do. Because, of course, it's in the court of public opinion most times, the rich person is already a criminal, is already wrong in such situation. So that, and the activists, when somebody is seen as an activist, they are believed to be right automatically in the court of public opinion. And that's why court of public opinion do not matter in legally speaking. What matters is actual courts that were created, either that were created by the Constitution of Nigeria,
By the provision of the
or by enabling acts that created them.
Okay.
So those are the only courts that should be recognized. And the reason why I'm saying this is because, normal courts, there is no prejudice, which already exists in the court of public opinion.
Exactly.
So that's why I still believe that you can say people weaponize the law. True, that's true. And that's something that is regularly being fought against. But still arguing that, but we should not still give people free pass to just get away with wrong with damaging people's character, people's...
But I thought we agreed that it should be a civil case,
No, I also believe that it should be civil. But regardless of that, the rich person is not safe. If a rich person is still pursuing a poor person, or not a poor person, an activist in a civil court, pressing an activist in a civil court over defamation, people will still say he's doing too much. I remember when a family were pursuing this guy, Alex Jones, in the US, about the fact when he said that their children, they were just paid actors. It's people that lost their children in I think, is it Parkland shooting? There's a shooting that happened in the US that the guy said those parents were paid actors. Those parents that were crying, they were paid actors. So all the parents came together. They decided to file a lawsuit. The lawsuit will get to a point where the guy is going to probably lose everything in his studio, lose everything he has as a way to pay them, and because he could not afford those things. I think it's a $400 million lawsuit or something. He could not possibly afford those stuff, but it would require him doing all that. People were still saying, no, they are doing too much. They can just let the guy go. Cardi B did the same thing with a lady named Tasha K. The lady named Tasha K said Cardi B was passing that Cardi B's daughter, baby, as what's the name? As I think, is it syphilis? She said she has one STD like that. And Cardi B filed a lawsuit. And she was told to repurpose everything the lady has, since the lady cannot afford to pay for this stuff. People were saying that Cardi B is just weaponizing the law against this woman because she knows, especially against a black woman. I remember that was so it's always going to be the case. And
I have in this interest in the fact that when someone accuses you of rape, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't always be the case that they will be, even when the case was discovered to be not guilty, to be false. Why is the accuser not guilty now of libel,
I think in most cases they choose not to pursue it. Because if you pursue defamation in this situation, in such situation, especially if the person really published information that you should be able to get your compensation, especially in what's the name? You should be able to get in court, like in civil case. Proceeding. The question I would like to ask though is, why don't police push the defamation case in that situation? Why don't they go for that in such situation if we really think defamation should exist in Nigeria. Why don't they do that? So, but I know that why such is not happening is because most guys won't end up, or most people that are accused of rape won't end up going out to say, I want to push this case of this and that. If the person goes through with that, the person will get
I think
compensated.
Koza, it happened with the Koza pastor versus
with the what's the name of these people? Although I think they
the
are still in
Apolos.
court, the Dakolos. I think they are still in court with their own. So he went for a defamation lawsuit against them. I think everybody should be doing that. But many people lost when they were being accused of rape and everything, and every other thing that is in between, usually makes them lose interest in going to court again. Especially, I hope nobody will be in such situation to be able to. It's not really worth it at the end of the day, because especially people that lost a lot of money in legal fees and everything. They want to institute that again and everything like that. And you know that many people, when they are released, when it comes to a matter of rape, for instance, they are not necessarily released because they are not guilty, because they are fully found to be not guilty, but because there are not sufficient evidence to find them guilty. So if they go to law court, if they go to the if they file a civil case and then they go to court about that same matter, how are they sure that they can really win? Because it's no longer burden of proof on the burden of proof is on them now that they didn't rape that person. And how do you want to prove that the person really that it was false? Because it has to be false. That's one of the key elements of defamation. The statement or whatever, the claim has to be false. So how do they want to prove that the claim is false when even it
can be false now, especially in the case where we have not shared the same room before, we not even meeting. A lot of people used to come up with
in such instances, the person should go with it.
Me and
the person should go with it. But in an instance where even your criminal case was resolved because of inconsistencies, because of technicalities and stuff, you won't want to push the button and stuff like that.
Interesting. So I asked a question earlier that if I'm in Lagos and I said Tinubu is a this is a
drug lord,
is a drug lord, is a drug baron, because I used to wonder how these obedient people that used to say all this rubbish and go away.
By the way, me that I'm saying this on this podcast, I hope you guys know that I have there's a defense for me right now. And the defense is, I think, absolute protection of some sort, which is one of the defenses against defamation that people use against defamation.
Okay.
So, and the reason is that we are quoting people.
Okay.
And two, we are just saying this on the ground so that people can understand what the point
the idea
I'm
that we
making.
are.
So, President Pibat, I'm not saying you are a drug. I'm not saying you are a drug lord. I just want everybody to understand that.
As far as I'm concerned, me, I'm not an obedient. So of course, I am one of the people that voted for my president. My people. So we are not the camp that we have no such legal record that our president is a drug dealer. So all the people that have such opinions should keep it as what it is, their opinion.
Exactly. So the reason why. I like what
the presidency is in Abuja.
Yeah.
I am in Lagos. So if I claim the president is a drug baron, blah, 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 what happened?
So here is where it gets technical. So now you are committing a crime. It's a crime in Abuja where the victim resides. This is a very, very interesting legal question. And we have a serious case going on currently, which is the case of Babalola and these popular human rights activist Dele Farotimi. And the reason is that Dele Farotimi wrote a book, and in his book he made very bold statements about Babalola and his practices when he doing his legal practices, how they bribe judges, how they do so many different things like that. And he wrote the book. He lives in Lagos. Lagos does not have criminal law on defamation. But the victim lives in Ekiti State. And the victim identified the material in Ekiti State. The victim didn't have to go to Lagos to be to have cognizance of this
to purchase
or to have any
access
to
possession.
this to this claim.
Mm.
So he had access to it in Ekiti State.
Mm-hmm.
And he reported to the Ekiti State Police Command.
Mm-hmm.
And the Ekiti State Police Command went to Lagos to pick up this person, took him to Ekiti State. Technically, I will boldly say they kidnapped in such situation, because do they have the jurisdiction to arrest somebody
In
Lagos for a crime that does not exist in Lagos?
But we have a federal police force now.
Yeah, but under the Police Act, if you're arresting somebody, it has to be for a crime that exists. Now, when they got to Lagos, there's no way you can say what they did was arrest, given that there's no crime. There's no such crime they're arresting for in Lagos.
In Lagos.
So technically, it's a kidnap.
Mm-hmm.
Where we can say they arrested him was when they got into Ekiti State.
They even forced him to Ekiti State.
So they forced him to Ekiti State. Not like they even baited him to Ekiti State or anything. They forced him to Ekiti State, and then maybe I can say they arrested him at Ekiti State. I don't know how they went through with that, but possibly we can still say they arrested him at Ekiti State.
So they kidnapped him to Ekiti State, now arrested him in
at
Ekiti
Ekiti
State.
State. In Ekiti
Okay.
State. So now, they want to pursue the matter in Ekiti State. The reason why I said it's a very technical law question is because there's no definite answer to this. Everybody can bring their arguments. I personally believe nobody should be arrested in a place. Nobody should be arrested when the person has not committed a crime. Like it is in the Police Act, Section 2 and Section 24 of the Police Act.
The funny thing is that the last time I was arrested, they came from Lagos, right? Okay. But they had to work with the police department in Oyo State first. They have to get their permission, blah, 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 and even get their policemen. So they first have to arrest us in Oyo State, then now transfer us to Lagos. That's the way they process it. We first appear in the police custody in Ibadan here, and then now they now allow them to take us to Lagos. Which
means that the arrest was effected by the police in
Oyo State Police Command. Yeah.
But now it was not effected in this situation by the Lagos State Police Command, because it would not be possible for the Lagos State Police Command to arrest anybody
on a crime that
that does not exist.
So
it was done by the State Police.
There's
Command.
No debating this. It's a clear,
very clear human rights
violation. It's clear.
It's very clear.
We don't need to be.
But where it becomes technical is that
where
it becomes technical is that are our laws solid enough to protect people?
Based on that.
Does our law protect people, victims in other states?
No, this can set the precedent for how issues like this should be handled.
That's why I'm
you cannot just send some Ekiti State Police Command to come and arrest somebody in Lagos. What's that?
That's kidnap.
Yes, and Lagos State has clear jurisdiction of their land and their people.
Exactly.
And even in the US, there are states where you can smoke weed and states you cannot smoke weed.
Now,
so because I smoke weed in Lagos, does that mean you can send Ekiti police to come and arrest me? When Lagos, you said that I can smoke weed.
The problem here now is that there are victims involved in this crime. So because you now this is the problem with defamation is now that it is not a contact kind of crime where you can't possibly effect a crime on a victim and then the victim will be somewhere else and stuff like that. Usually, this is a crime that is more like blue powder. This is a crime that is more like fraud. Exactly. So because you can defraud somebody living in another state, from a different state.
I read the news where a guy was arrested recently by FBI for $2 million fraud or something like that. But it's Nigerian police that handed them. I think it's EFCC that handed the guy over.
They extradited them to US. That works because Nigeria also has a law. Nigeria also has laws against cyber crimes. It's illegal in Nigeria. Now imagine that Nigeria is a country where cyber crime is allowed, not illegal, not criminalized, or maybe at best it's a civil wrong that should be done. Then people from US now randomly come into Nigeria to come and arrest.
That will not be possible.
Because
there are some countries that people run to just go and
to avoid crimes. Exactly.
Yeah.
We are operating a federal system. this is undermining our federalism.
Exactly.
This is a clear situation that is undermining our
A
federalism.
clear infringement on our federalism. I agree with you on that.
But how do we want to protect the interest of victims who are in this situation?
You are talking about
Babalola.
Babalola.
How do you want him to seek? How do you want him to
Seek justice.
seek justice?
In this case.
And I think this case will show us more reasons why defamation should be decriminalized all throughout Nigeria. This case, I think it should be a landmark case at the end of the day that should show us why because it is not practical.
Exactly.
That's what it looks like now. We want to defend the interest of the victim. In this situation, I feel we want to defend people's rights to not be arrested without committing a crime. How do we balance the two?
Exactly.
We start breaking a law to cover for a law, to start sacrificing someone's interest
for the other.
For another.
So, because if this is a civil case, it will remain a civil case.
It will remain a civil case.
Sue each
they
other.
Will initiate it in whichever court
they want, whether it's Lagos or
exactly, or Ekiti, or even another court anywhere, as they want, whichever one they want. So that's how it should have gone. If it
or
were
a court of
merely
appeal for that matter,
case.
something like that.
But it's not a civil case, and they have to go through we are now breaking a law to cover for a law. And even if we are not going to break the law, we are going to be sacrificing the interest of a victim. And someone is going to be getting his reputation damaged continually. Just because we are trying to
someone
protect.
is in Lagos. Because someone is in Lagos.
Because someone is in Lagos.
If you continue to defame the other.
So anybody in Lagos can just start defaming people around the world. People who live around, as long as they. So what do we want to do about it? So
what's your answer to that?
My own solution to this is that we should decriminalize defamation entirely, because it is obvious that it is impractical
and make it
for us to solve
a
this
civil
problem.
infraction.
Just that it should be taught. It should be a taught, a civil wrongdoing. In all through that, that's all it should be. That's all defamation should be. That's what I strongly believe. If we want to follow the example of many countries that have been practicing law before we even started practicing law in this country, and many countries where we are borrowing our laws from and everything, you will see that they have done this. Already. It is already a civil law. It's already a civil case, civil matter in most countries. But should I say we are still behind, or
we are young? You are a very young
country.
I believe we are a very young country.
I'm talking about countries that have existed.
And I believe that leaders around the country are watching this, and lawmakers are listening to us. And I believe things are going to put in effect. So now, here's my final question for you. What can I possibly gain from a civil case by raising a civil case for someone defaming me? How do we measure it? How do we measure out that, oh, this person has cost me 1 million or 1 billion? How do the court, actually put that into perspective? Because someone that has not made 3,000 naira in his life, that has not made 10,000, can say, I'm calling him. There's this thing I used to say that people used to, I would see young people, folks that are maybe trying to greet me, or I did not greet them back, or something like that. Anything happen like that, and they will say that I'm proud to them. And then when I hear this, behind the door, and later on I will challenge them and say, come here. I cannot be proud to you. Don't you get it? Somebody that is richer than you, somebody that is more experienced than you, aged than you, or something, has all of the qualities of an elderly person more than you, can never be proud to you. And most of them don't get it, right?
Yeah.
It's very kind of, I think you write about it recently. Yeah. It's very kind of interesting situation. Now imagine that somebody that is like that doesn't have reputation, that believes that you are spoiling his reputation.
So in such situation, for instance, the funny thing is that the person that is going to come up with the damage he wants or he expects is in this situation, the claimant or the plaintiff. That's what we call people that's what we call the person that is bringing the matter to court in a civil case. In a criminal case, it's the government,
I know.
So now the claimant is going to tell us that this is how much I want as compensation, and this is how we arrived at this number to believe that that's what we deserve. So I could just file a 1 billion naira lawsuit. But in my while I'm filing the case, I will be able to clarify how I got to arrive at 1 billion naira lawsuit because somebody called me what can I use as an
A
example?
fake lawyer.
Somebody said I'm not a law student, and I have proof that I'm a law student.
Okay.
So and I felt like that's defamatory. Somebody said I'm a fake law student, for instance. That I'm claiming that I'm a law student, but I'm not. So I can say the person should give me 1 billion. I will have to justify my 1 billion before it gets to court. Or else the judge will feel like
dear viewer, go to the comment section, call this guy a fake lawyer. May you go fight because
the judge has to.
You go stand in queue. you go tire you. Even you say go tire because I don't know who go give you 1 billion in this country now.
So the judge will be like, "What's this? What are these people?"
So now in this economy that all of us are calling Tinubu T-Pain, can Tinubu fight for defamation character?
I think if we are giving our opinion, we are giving opinion. The funny thing is that when it's about opinion, it's not defamation. It's not defamatory. When it's just I'm saying in my personal opinion, what I think when I'm making
before who makes a opinion in other people's opinion? Who makes a on personal opinion?
It's different to say Tinubu is a thief.
Okay.
Tinubu is an armed robber, and it's different to say I think that Tinubu is an armed robber. It's my opinion that Tinubu is an armed robber. At least you made this clear that it's your opinion. But when you say Tinubu is a thief, Tinubu is an armed robber, that means you must have evidence. You must have proof that Tinubu has stolen before.
You see, my personal, because I don't put the comma and this question mark does not mean it's not my personal opinion.
No, it's actually different in the way it's going to be perceived. In the way it's going to injure the person's character. People, of course, if your opinion holds weight, when that's the person's luck at the end of the day. But no matter the weight or whatever, if you are making it clear that this person is that, the meaning is that there's an element of truth to that. Of course, at the end of the day, people that will evaluate whether what you said is true.
Nobody speaks without their personal opinion. It's at the end of the day, although I know people can lay claim to objective truth. So what you are saying is that when someone is grounding their opinion as an objective fact, that's when it becomes
like the Dele Farotimi situation. Now, he wrote in his book, he was not stating that I believe or I have reasons to believe, not even something like that. His claims were that these are the things that happened. He was naming names like the current what's the name? The current Attorney General of the Federation, the current Attorney General of Lagos State. He mentioned their names, that these people are bribing judges. He was naming judges that were being bribed, different things like that. People that are in the Supreme Court, he was literally stating their names.
Okay.
That he did that. He was not saying that he has reasons to believe that, or he believes that, or he thinks that. He's saying that is what happened. So he's claiming that these are objective or they're objective truth. So now that's the case, all he has to do is come and bring his evidence that towards the
interesting. So be careful. Anytime you want to call people a thief, just put it. In my personal opinion, I think you are a thief. In my thinking opinion.
There's an interesting case where defamation was not. I don't remember the exact names of the people involved, and that's one of the problems of the fact that we always use last names in cases. So, and the funny thing is that in that case, what happened was that they were fighting, and the two people fighting, one of them they started using really harsh words and stuff like that. And part of the harsh words were you are this, you are that, and so the court really struck that out that that's not a situation of defamation. You guys are fighting.
It's a hush of the moment.
So it's different from. And then there's another case of Alaji, is it Oladele or something like that? This one happened in Ibadan. And what happened was that the plaintiff said that the defendant called him an armed robber. He went to report to the police that he's an armed robber. The police arrested him as a result of it. And then he was that was in 2006, and he was demanding 1 million naira as compensation for his. Okay. He said the defendant also told people in New Baggy that is an armed robber that came to rob in his house. he also told people in their landlord association that is an armed robber that came to rob his house, and that he was demanding that. Of course, the case was struck out at first in the court of first instance because of how the claims was structured, not necessarily because it was confirmed whether it was true or not, because the guy was actually arrested by the police, and police actually arrested those people who were involved, and then they released him, I think 12 days later or something like that. So those were the facts of that case. Now in such situation now, the guy going about telling everybody that he was going to have to pay 1 million naira in that kind of case. So it's clear when you are saying something or you are spreading something about somebody that can have real consequences versus you and somebody just having war of words, and that's why it's funny now that Drake is suing about the Kendrick Lamar beef and stuff like that. He's suing his record label, and I think people are getting something wrong. They think he's suing Kendrick Lamar. It would not make sense for him to sue Kendrick Lamar necessarily. Okay. One, because they were in a diss battle.
Yeah.
Everyone is saying stuff that could not be true.
And I think there's a creative protection somewhere.
No, I think that's for criminal. That's for criminal cases.
Okay.
Not for civil cases.
Okay.
So the people are thinking he's suing. That's not the case. And what he's suing is record label over is something different entirely. He's suing them over trying to reduce his suing them for defamation, that they are actively working to damage his name. That's a different battle compared to him suing the fellow rapper about over this battle.
You cannot. That means technically you cannot sue people over this in a music video.
When you get to court, I think it will be told to you, not like it's clearly explicit, of course, but when you get to court, I think it will be told to you that no, the two of you were in a battle. You also made statements about this person that I'm sure you can't prove.
But you don't have proof of it.
What are you saying? So it's just something like that. So I just want to submit it that way, that everything is defamation. Like, you can say something wrong, but you just know that there's those thin lines and stuff. And then another thing is that when government agencies say something about you and you sue them for defamation, they are legally protected, kind of. To an extent, where they actually can make that statement, and they have a kind of immunity to make some statement. Like if a government agency accuses you of, like the way police can say somebody, the things they say that did this. The way when they are stating their facts, they state that the person did this, when that, do that. Even the lawyer in court
acquired this, do that.
I don't know if you've been in court proceeding or you've witnessed or you've watched where you see the lawyer writing the story of how a crime happened. Not like the person has been, but he will make direct statements that the person did this did that next. And
have I been in court? Me, the police came and arrested. I sent police call for 20 something days. You are saying, have I been in court? Where was I? I was in Alagbo Meji. I was at Tinubu court. So in
such situations,
in Lagos,
they are protected. So they're not like after that kind of, you now go and sue them for.
You see the prayer that the what's it called? What did they call them?
The counsel.
The prosecuting counsel. The prayer that they wrote against me. I was like, what's happened?
When you start hearing that story, you feel like, this man defaming me.
Now me be this. Now me be this on my brother. Wait here, Paul. I get twins.
No, they are enjoying a kind of protection. But I think the most undefeated defense against defamation will always be that the accusation is true. So if you make a statement about somebody, if they are suing you for defamation, just have it.
Have the evidence.
Have evidence
that what you are saying is true.
Hey,
as a matter, because I remember when I was saying at Sango, there's this man that there are rumors about the man sleeping with his daughter, but the only thing I remember used to say in public is that, does it concern anybody? Did they understand their what's it called? Do we understand their tradition, their culture? That's the only thing he used to say in public. Even that is implying as if he's. But I know that I will advise people that used to probably do those kind of rumors around to not, because they don't have evidence. The only thing we used to see is that the man is sweating, in the afternoon, when the daughter too is, right, that tiny wrapper and coming out in the afternoon. So,
Those
you
are
know, and,
circumstantial.
those are circumstantial as best. That they are sleeping, and then sometimes when children are making noise around the house, they will come out. They will say, "Why are people making noise?" That they are sleeping in the afternoon. The father and daughter sleeping in the afternoon. So all of those are just circumstantial at best because we are on legally speaking. But what do you think? Let me know what you think
In the
about the
comment
situation in
section.
the comment section. You get. Yeah, because that was his response. Well, that they know their culture. That since they don't know that, they didn't know what this will. And whoever is sure for should come and face him directly.
You can easily- people can even
So
face him directly. Not
they
to
can,
mention
he's a
going
very
to
huge man.
court
He's a very huge man.
about the matter.
Very, very huge man. So kind of thing. But then I don't know. Is he sleeping with his daughter? I don't know. Do we have the right to say he's sleeping with his daughter? There's no evidence. So, ladies and gentlemen, I remain a lot jobs. You have been with
I'm Tracy.
Beat Tracy,
I'm Bangbade Emmanuel,
Bangbade Emmanuel,
also known
ESQ.
as Beatrice.
Fully known, dutifully noted as Beat Tracy. And this is Legally Speaking. We are going to see in the next episode. What is your claim for defamation? In all the cases we have cited, what's your opinion? Let's have them in the comment section. That's how this video gets pushed to all lovers of legal topics like this out there that want to know more about the law, want to know how to avoid getting in trouble or putting themselves in trouble. And then I will see you in the next one. Peace out.